It's almost poetic. 100 years after the Olympics were broadcast over the radio for the first time ever in Paris, France, the 2024 Games returned to the City of Light. The 2024 Olympics brought another first. Every event was streamed live on Peacock. That's over 5,000 hours of Olympics coverage, streamed for fans and advertisers to explore. 100 years apart, these firsts highlight the enduring appeal of live sports, even as the broadcast medium changed. The world, and our attention, have become more fragmented, but sports remain a massive draw for fans, young and old. And sports broadcasts, arguably the last great unifier of live audiences, has increasingly moved to streaming platforms. Streaming live sports offers advancements for advertisers beyond traditional TV. If sports are the constant, it's the playbook that has changed. Let's break down the live sports streaming revolution. Everyone knows the Super Bowl is the advertising event of the year in America, but it wasn't always that way. During the first Super Bowl in 1967, an ad slot sold for around $42,000, roughly $401,000 today. Peanuts compared to the $7 million advertisers paid in 2024. What changed? Besides the game itself becoming more popular, many credit this ad with taking creative to new heights.
We shall prevail.
Apple's 1984 ad, directed by acclaimed filmmaker Ridley Scott, set the stage and the standard for ads. What's ironic is Apple's co-founder Steve Jobs had never even heard of the Super Bowl. But there was another monumental yet often forgotten foundational moment in 1984 that led to the immense growth of money moving into live sports. After the University of Oklahoma and University of Georgia sued the NCAA over the ability to sell its TV rights, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the schools in a landmark antitrust case, giving colleges the power to sell to the highest bidder and opening the floodgates for the free market to take over. Andy Coates, the lawyer who argued before the court, later said, "Everything that's happened really is because of that case, and the television dollars that opened up." Case in point, the Big Ten Conference and the Pac-10 came together for an $8 million per year media rights deal in 1984. By 2023, the Big Ten's contract alone exploded to $8 billion over 7 years. Live sports invaded cable for the very first time when ESPN got a package of NFL games in 1987. Then Fox boss Rupert Murdoch shocked the sports world 6 years later when he successfully bid $1.6 billion for the NFL in 1993, reportedly outbidding CBS by $100 million a year. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones called it a watershed moment for the NFL because, quote, "I had seen the power and the interest in football as it's manifested through television." The mid-90s also saw the expansion of regional sports networks from Fox and Comcast, opening up more space for brands to advertise. And not only during live games, pre- and post-game shows offered yet another way for advertisers to get involved. As rights kept climbing, cable providers were raking in dough from each subscriber, whether they watched live sports or not. This way of living existed for decades, with pay TV subscriptions peaking in 2009 as 84% of North Americans had a cable package. Then cord cutting came. Fueled in part by the rising cost of sports rights, which were passed down to viewers' growing cable bills, people in major numbers started ditching cable. In 2023, cable subscriptions hit their lowest level since 1992, with streaming rising as cable fell. Still, broadcast and cable held on to live sports as one of its biggest benefits, with streaming on the outside looking in. That is until Amazon landed the NFL in 2021. The bombshell move by the e-commerce giant created shockwaves through the sports world, as Amazon ponied up $13 billion over 11 years. Just as the NFL led the way with cable in 1987, it did the same by bringing its games to streaming in 2022. For Amazon, getting the NFL is about more than just the game. It's about selling more products on Amazon. An Amazon exec said viewers are 33% more likely to search for brands advertised during the game than those watching traditional TV. Not just that, live sports streaming allows platforms to offer different ads in the same ad slot to different audiences. And Amazon owns a ton of retail data, which enables it to connect advertisers to audiences. It's not the only one though. NBC Universal and Walmart teamed up to let brands deliver targeted ads on Peacock using Walmart shopper data, allowing brands to measure campaign results. This has meant a much more targeted strategy for advertisers, streaming services, and viewers. Add in the more precise measurement power streaming has over traditional TV, plus the immense scale games offer, and this dramatic shift of live sports to streaming channels makes sense. Apple got off the sidelines too by signing a $2.5 billion exclusive deal with Major League Soccer. Seeing the landscape, even the traditional broadcasters decided to get in.
I'd rather be a disruptor than to be disrupted.
Hulu, Peacock, Paramount Plus, and Max all started streaming live sports. If you thought the NFL would again lead the charge as an innovator, you'd be right. Peacock fanned its feathers by setting records for the most streamed event in US history after exclusively streaming an NFL playoff game for the first time. Plus, almost 3 million people reportedly subscribed to Peacock to watch, the biggest one-time addition of subscribers ever recorded. Months later, Netflix scored the rights to stream 2 NFL games on Christmas Day as well as the global rights to the WWE, pulling them into the live sports arena after sitting out for years. Meanwhile, the NBA tripled its rights deal by agreeing to a $76 billion agreement over 11 years, and a lot more of those games will be streamed. This all underscores why sports are the last great unifier, dominating the list of the most watched broadcasts in the US with 96 of the top 100. And advertisers understand this power, as they're projected to pour in just under $61 billion into live sports in 2024. One of NBC Universal's advertising execs said major media companies expected 40% of all spend at the upfronts this year to go to sports, up from around 25% from 7 years ago. That percentage is projected to balloon to 50% in the next 2 years. Legacy networks are in transition, straddling the line between preparing for a streaming future while still making most of their money from traditional TV. Bringing all this back to where we started, this Olympics showed that dynamic in action, as Peacock played a much bigger role in supplementing the traditional broadcasts. And for the first time ever, NBC Universal opened up programmatic access to the Olympics on Peacock, giving global advertisers a chance to connect with streaming viewers during its premier live event. A move for NBCU, its viewers, and advertisers that early reports indicate was worth its weight in gold.